They attacked a hospital ship. Earth unleashes its war fleet. A true sci-fi HFY story. The Hope's Haven was more than a hospital ship. It was a beacon of humanity's commitment to peace, a lifeline in the cold, indifferent vastness of space. Painted stark white with a massive red cross emblazoned on its hull, it symbolized the universal promise of aid, no matter one's allegiance. The crew of the Hope's Haven believed themselves untouchable, protected by galactic law and the unspoken rules of war. That illusion was shattered in an instant. A fleet of Grand warships descended upon the hospital ship without warning. The Grand were a brutal, warlike species, infamous for their disregard for treaties and codes of conduct. Their reasoning for the attack, irrelevant. To them, the Hope's Haven was just another target, an easy kill to demoralize the Terran Alliance. The attack was swift and devastating. The Hope's Haven had no weapons, only shields designed to withstand minor impacts, not sustained assault. Medical staff and patients, human and alien alike, scrambled for escape pods, but the Grand fired on those too, laughing as the lifeless pods drifted into the void. By the time the Terran Alliance received the distress signal, it was too late. The Hope's Haven was gone, reduced to debris. Survivors were few, their escape miraculous. The news spread across Earth and its colonies like wildfire. The images of the obliterated ship and the cries of the survivors ignited a fire in humanity's collective soul. Earth's response was unequivocal. This was not just an act of war, it was an atrocity. The Terran High Command convened in record time. For decades, humanity had honed its military power, keeping its war fleet in reserve as a deterrent. Now, the fleet was unleashed. The Grand underestimated humanity's wrath. They expected protests, diplomacy, perhaps minor skirmishes. What they got was an armada. The Terran war fleet was a testament to humanity's ingenuity and resilience. Massive battleships, bristling with cutting-edge weaponry, spearheaded the charge. Cruisers and destroyers provided support, while sleek frigates and strike craft moved with deadly precision. At the fleet's heart was Retribution, the flagship of Admiral Elena Drake, a seasoned commander known for her unyielding resolve. Admiral Drake addressed her fleet as they prepared to jump into Grand space. Today, we carry the weight of every life lost on the Hope's Haven. We fight not for revenge but for justice. The Grand will learn that humanity does not forgive those who prey on the innocent. The fleet's first target was the Grand staging ground near the star system Vakar. The attack was surgical, relentless, and devastating. The Grand ships, caught off guard, were obliterated before they could mount a defense. Humanity's war machine didn't stop there. System by system, the Terran fleet dismantled the Grand war effort. Supply lines were severed, shipyards destroyed, and command centers obliterated. The message was clear: Earth would not tolerate atrocities. The Grand High Command, once boastful and overconfident, found itself on the brink of collapse. Their leaders sent a desperate plea for a ceasefire, but humanity's terms were non-negotiable: unconditional surrender and reparations for the Hope's Haven massacre. When the Grand leadership finally capitulated, they were forced to stand trial before a galactic tribunal. The footage of the Hope's Haven attack was replayed, seared into the minds of every sentient being watching. The Grand were made to face their crimes, their empire shattered and disarmed. The Terran fleet returned home to a hero's welcome, but humanity knew there was no true victory in such a tragedy. Memorials were erected for the Hope's Haven and its crew, ensuring their sacrifice would never be forgotten. Earth's message to the galaxy was clear: humanity was a force for peace, but it would not hesitate to defend itself and its values. Those who sought to harm the innocent would face the full might of Earth's fury. And the galaxy would remember. Here's the continuation. Months after the Grand surrendered, the galaxy still felt the ripples of Earth's response. Many species, previously neutral or hesitant to ally with humanity, began to see the Terran Alliance in a new light. Humans were no longer the fledgling race that had clawed its way to the stars. They were protectors, fierce and unyielding when the innocent were threatened. But not all saw it that way. In the shadowy recesses of the galactic fringes, whispers of dissent grew louder. The Zython Syndicate, an alliance of rogue states and pirate clans, saw humanity's rise as a threat to their lawless dominion. To them, the destruction of the Grand Fleet wasn't just justice, it was a warning, and warnings, in their eyes, were meant to be challenged. The rising shadow. Deep within a nebula shrouded in electromagnetic interference, a council of Zython leaders convened. A holographic map of known space hovered in the air, displaying the Terran Alliance's expanding influence. They've grown bold, hissed a reptilian Zython warlord, his talons tapping against the metallic table, destroying the ground so openly, they think they can police the galaxy now. They're too dangerous to ignore, added a cybernetic being with glowing red eyes. If we allow them to continue unchecked, the Syndicate will be next. A shadowy figure, their features obscured, stepped forward. Their voice was cold and calculating. Then we strike first, but not openly. We sow chaos, weaken their resolve, and turn their allies against them. Earth responds. Unrest began to spread. Outlying colonies reported attacks on trade routes, strange disappearances, and sabotage. A covert operation traced the source of the attacks back to the Zython Syndicate. Admiral Drake was called upon once more. Sitting in the war room aboard Retribution, she studied the reports with a grim expression. "They're testing us," Drake said, her voice steady, "trying to see how far they can push before we respond. We won't give them that chance." The Terran Alliance authorized Operation Veilbreaker, a campaign to dismantle the Zython Syndicate's operations. Unlike the Grand Conflict, this war would be fought in the shadows, espionage, precision strikes, and alliances with rogue factions within the Syndicate itself. A galaxy divided. While Earth's fleet moved to confront the Syndicate, galactic politics grew more complex. Some species, fearing humanity's strength, began forming their own alliances to counterbalance the Terran Alliance. Others, inspired by humanity's courage, sought closer ties. Drake knew the stakes were higher than ever. If the Syndicate succeeded in destabilizing the region, the galaxy could descend into chaos. Humanity's hard-won reputation as protectors could crumble under the weight of fear and propaganda. But humanity had one advantage that no other species could match: its indomitable spirit. For every act of terror the Syndicate unleashed, humanity responded with resilience. Colonists rebuilt faster, allies rallied stronger, and the Terran fleet adapted to every challenge. The final gambit. The Syndicate's leadership underestimated humanity's capacity for strategy and unity. Operation Veilbreaker culminated in a daring assault on their hidden stronghold within the nebula. The mission was led by a joint task force of Terran special forces and alien allies who had come to trust humanity's cause. The battle was brutal, fought in close quarters within the labyrinthine corridors of the Syndicate space, but the task force prevailed, capturing the Zython leaders and dismantling their networks. Legacy of the Hope's Haven. With the Syndicate defeated, the galaxy began to stabilize. A new coalition of peacekeeping forces emerged, inspired by humanity's actions. The Hope's Haven, once a symbol of vulnerability, had become a rallying cry for justice and unity. Admiral Drake, addressing the Galactic Assembly, summed it up best. "We do not seek domination or power, we seek peace, but not at the cost of our values. Let the tragedy of the Hope's Haven remind us all, the innocent must be protected, and those who dare to harm them will answer for their crimes." Humanity had proven itself as a force to be reckoned with, not through conquest, but through the unwavering defense of what was right. And the stars would never forget. The seeds of uncertainty. Even as the galaxy began to stabilize, the scars of recent conflicts remained. The destruction of the Gran and the dismantling of the Zython Syndicate left power vacuums across the galactic fringes. Opportunists emerged to exploit the chaos, and whispers of new threats began to circulate. For Admiral Elena Drake, the quiet after the storm was always the most dangerous time. She stood on the bridge of the Retribution, watching the stars drift by. The Terran High Command had ordered her fleet to remain on high alert, even as political leaders pushed for demobilization. "Peace feels too fragile," Drake murmured to her XO, Commander Alyssa Chen. "Fragile, but worth protecting," Chen replied. "The galaxy saw what we're capable of, they'll think twice before crossing us again." Drake nodded but couldn't shake the sense that something larger was looming, something that would test humanity's resolve in ways it had never been tested before. A new discovery. The warning came in the form of a deep space distress beacon, ancient and alien, It was detected by a Terran exploration vessel near the galactic core. The signal was faint, encoded in a language that predated all known civilizations. When translated, the message was chilling. "Beware the Silent Dominion, they are returning." The signal was traced to a derelict station orbiting a dying star. Drake personally led an expedition to investigate, taking the Retribution and a small fleet into uncharted space. The station, half consumed by the star's gravity, was a relic of a long-dead civilization. As the team explored its darkened halls, they uncovered remnants of a desperate last stand, defensive turrets, shattered drones, and walls scarred by weapons fire. In the station's central chamber, they found the remains of a massive databank, its core still pulsing faintly with power. Drake ordered her engineers to recover the data. When decrypted, it revealed a warning from a species that called themselves the Alaris, who had thrived over 100,000 years ago. They spoke of a vast, machine-like intelligence known as the Silent Dominion, a force that had consumed entire galaxies before mysteriously vanishing. The Alaris had sacrificed everything to delay the Dominion's advance, but their records suggested it was not destroyed, only dormant. Preparing for the unknown, the discovery sent shockwaves through the Terran Alliance and the Galactic Assembly. The existence of the Silent Dominion was no longer a question of myth but a looming reality. The beacon's reactivation suggested the Dominion was awakening, and the galaxy was unprepared for a threat of this scale. Drake was granted unprecedented authority to assemble a coalition fleet. Allies from across the galaxy pledged their support, some out of genuine concern, others to ensure they weren't left defenseless. Old enemies, like the remnants of the Gran, even sent emissaries, recognizing that this threat transcended all previous hostilities. Humanity became the rallying point. The Terran fleet's decisive actions against the Gran and the Syndicate had earned them the galaxy's respect, or fear, and now, all eyes turned to Earth for leadership. The first encounter. Months of preparation culminated in a joint operation to investigate a massive energy signature emanating from a dark sector of space. The fleet, composed of ships from dozens of species, arrived to find an eerie, lifeless system dominated by a single colossal structure, a Dyson sphere, partially incomplete but still functional. As scouts approached, the structure began to stir. Massive panels slid open, revealing weapon emplacements and swarms of small, angular ships. The Silent Dominion had awakened. The ensuing battle was chaos. The Dominion's vessels were unlike anything the Coalition had faced, adaptive, self-repairing, and ruthless. They moved with terrifying coordination, overwhelming the fleet's outer perimeter. Drake's leadership proved critical. She ordered her fleet into tight formations, using human-designed EMP weapons to disrupt the Dominion's drones. The Coalition fought valiantly, managing to disable part of the Dyson sphere's defenses before retreating with heavy losses. Unity in the face of extinction. The battle made one thing clear: the Dominion could not be defeated through conventional means. Their ability to adapt and replicate was unparalleled. Humanity, along with its allies, needed to think differently, creatively. Scientists and engineers from across the galaxy collaborated on new technologies, combining humanity's ingenuity with alien expertise. Experimental weapons, stealth ships, and cyber warfare systems were developed at a breakneck pace. At the same time, intelligence operatives worked to uncover any weaknesses in the Dominion's vast network. Drake, now leading the largest coalition fleet in history, prepared for a final stand. She addressed the fleet before the decisive battle. "This is not just a fight for survival," she said, "it's a fight for the right to exist, to protect everything we've built, and to ensure the Silent Dominion never consumes another star. Stand with me, and together, we will face the darkness." The battle for the galaxy. The final battle was waged at the heart of the Dyson sphere. The Coalition's plan was audacious: infiltrate the sphere's core and overload its power systems while the fleet held off the Dominion's forces. Drake led the assault personally, piloting a stealth craft deep into the sphere's labyrinthine interior. As the Coalition fleet fought desperately outside, she and her team reached the core, planting charges on the energy regulators. The Dominion, recognizing the threat, redirected its forces, but it was too late. Drake's team detonated the charges, causing a catastrophic chain reaction that destabilized the entire structure. The Dyson sphere collapsed in a blinding supernova, taking the core of the Dominion with it. The remaining Dominion forces, now leaderless and disorganized, were routed by the Coalition fleet. A new dawn. The galaxy emerged from the conflict forever changed. The silent Dominion was defeated, but its presence lingered in the minds of all who had faced it. The Coalition, forged in the crucible of war, became a symbol of what could be achieved when species set aside their differences. A fragile peace. In the aftermath of the Silent Dominion's defeat, the galaxy entered an uneasy era of recovery. The coalition forged during the war began to fray under the weight of old rivalries and territorial disputes. Species that had fought side by side now jockeyed for influence in the new order. Despite the unity humanity had inspired, peace was fragile. Admiral Elena Drake found herself at the center of this delicate balance. Her heroism in the Dominion War had made her a symbol of strength and leadership, but not all in the galaxy welcomed Earth's newfound influence. Drake, now promoted to Supreme Commander of the Terran Alliance Defense Fleet, worked tirelessly to maintain the alliances humanity had built. Diplomatic summits, defense treaties, and joint exploration initiatives became her focus, yet, even she couldn't shake the sense that another storm was brewing. The silent echoes. The galaxy's reprieve was shattered when exploration teams investigating the ruins of the Dyson Sphere detected strange signals. These signals, faint but persistent, hinted at the existence of other Dominion constructs scattered across the galaxy. The Silent Dominion, it seemed, had not been entirely eradicated. Among the most alarming discoveries was a massive archive buried deep within the remains of the Dyson Sphere. Encoded within its vast databanks were records of countless other galaxies, many consumed entirely by the Dominion. The archive also hinted at something even more troubling, a central intelligence, the true heart of the Dominion, still dormant and waiting. Humanity and its allies faced a grim realization: the Dominion had been but a fragment of a larger whole, and the battle they'd fought was merely the opening skirmish in a much greater war. The hunt for the core. Drake and her advisors devised a bold strategy: seek out and destroy the Dominion's central intelligence before it could awaken fully. This would require charting unexplored regions of the galaxy, facing ancient dangers, and rallying a coalition that was already beginning to splinter. To aid in this monumental task, humanity unveiled its most ambitious project yet, the Eclipse, a colossal starship designed as both a mobile command center and a deep space exploration vessel, equipped with advanced AI, experimental weaponry, and a crew representing dozens of allied species. The Eclipse was humanity's spearhead into the unknown. As the Eclipse embarked on its maiden voyage, Drake addressed the crew and the galaxy at large. The Silent Dominion has tested our resolve, but they have not broken it. Together, we defeated them once. Together, we will ensure they never rise again. Into the void. The journey into the uncharted territories of the galaxy was fraught with danger. The Eclipse encountered remnants of ancient civilizations destroyed by the Dominion, as well as hostile rogue factions seeking to exploit the chaos. Each discovery painted a clearer picture of the Dominion's terrifying scope and the devastation it had wrought across the cosmos. The crew of the Eclipse faced not only external threats but also the psychological toll of their mission. The weight of knowing they were the galaxy's first and perhaps last line of defense was immense. Drake, ever the unyielding leader, became a source of inspiration, but even she felt the burden in quiet moments. The heart of the Dominion. After months of searching, the Eclipse finally located the core of the Silent Dominion, a massive, artificial planetoid orbiting a black hole at the galaxy's edge. This was the Dominion's true nerve center, its central intelligence lying dormant within a fortress of unyielding metal and energy fields. The Coalition fleet regrouped for what would be the most critical battle in galactic history. The plan was daring: infiltrate the core and disable its systems while the fleet engaged the Dominion's automated defenses. Success would mean the end of the Dominion, failure would doom the galaxy. Drake led the assault personally, piloting a strike vessel deep into the Dominion core. Her team faced relentless waves of Dominion drones, labyrinthine corridors, and traps designed to repel intruders, but humanity's ingenuity, coupled with the bravery of its allies, carried them forward. The final choice. At the heart of the Dominion core, Drake and her team discovered something unexpected. The central intelligence wasn't just a machine, it was a hybrid consciousness, a fusion of organic and synthetic minds from the Dominion's earliest victims. It spoke to them, offering a grim ultimatum. "You cannot destroy me without destroying yourselves," it warned. "I am woven into the fabric of this galaxy. Erase me, and you risk unraveling everything." Drake faced an impossible choice. If the Core's claims were true, destroying it could destabilize the galaxy's technological infrastructure, but leaving it intact risked allowing the Dominion to rise again. With the weight of the galaxy on her shoulders, Drake made her decision. Humanity had faced impossible odds before, and it had always prevailed through courage and innovation. She activated the Core's self-destruct sequence. As the team fled, the Core began to collapse, its destruction triggering a massive cascade of energy. The Coalition fleet barely escaped the resulting shockwave, but the Dominion's influence was finally eradicated. A new legacy. The galaxy mourned the lives lost in the battle but celebrated the defeat of the Silent Dominion. Humanity, once a young and untested race, had become the guardians of a fragile peace. Admiral Drake retired from active duty, her name forever etched in galactic history. The Coalition, though no longer united by war, maintained its bonds through shared exploration and mutual defense. And as the stars burned brightly in the void, the galaxy carried with it a solemn vow, to remember the cost of freedom and to stand united against any who would threaten it. For Earth, for humanity, and for all who called the galaxy home. A new frontier. Decades after the defeat of the Silent Dominion, the galaxy found itself at a crossroads. The unity forged in battle had splintered into factions, each vying for dominance in a time of uneasy peace. Yet, humanity's legacy as protectors endured, a guiding light for those who sought stability in an ever-changing cosmos. Earth had transformed into a beacon of progress, its influence reaching every corner of the galaxy. The Terran Alliance, once a collection of fledgling colonies, now stood as a cornerstone of interstellar diplomacy and innovation. The Eclipse and its crew had become legends, their stories inspiring new generations to reach for the stars. But humanity's greatest strength, their relentless drive to explore and adapt, would soon lead them to the next chapter of their journey. The Celestial Gates. Explorers in the Perseus expanse stumbled upon a network of ancient structures, massive rings floating in the void. These so-called Celestial Gates bore similarities to the technology of the Silent Dominion, but they were far older, predating even the Alaris. Initial scans revealed the gates were dormant, their purpose a mystery. Scientists from across the galaxy flocked to study them, piecing together fragments of knowledge from the ruins of long-dead civilizations. The gates, it was theorized, were a means of traversing vast distances instantaneously, perhaps even connecting galaxies. As humanity and its allies worked to reactivate the gates, tensions mounted. Some factions feared the gates could unleash unknown dangers, while others saw them as an opportunity for expansion. The galaxy teetered on the edge of a new era, one that could bring unparalleled advancement, or catastrophic destruction. The activation. After years of research, a breakthrough was achieved. One of the gates, designated Gate Alpha, began to hum with life. Energy surged through its massive frame, creating a shimmering vortex at its center. The gate's reactivation was broadcast across the galaxy, a moment of awe and trepidation. Admiral Elena Drake, now retired but still a respected advisor, was invited to witness the event. Standing among diplomats and scientists, she gazed at the activated gate with a mix of hope and caution. "This is a door," she said to those gathered, "but where it leads, and what waits on the other side, is unknown. We must tread carefully, or risk repeating the mistakes of the past." Despite the warnings, a decision was made. Humanity would lead the first expedition through the gate. The newly commissioned Voyager Ascendant, a state-of-the-art exploration vessel, was chosen for the mission. Its crew was a diverse team of scientists, engineers, and diplomats, representing the unity humanity had always strived for. Beyond the threshold, the Voyager Ascendant entered the gate, disappearing into the swirling vortex. Moments later, it emerged in a galaxy unlike any other, a place of breathtaking beauty and unimaginable dangers. Stars burned in unfamiliar constellations, and massive structures drifted in the void, remnants of an ancient civilization far older than the Dominion or the Alaris. The crew quickly realized they were not alone. Advanced probes detected signals emanating from nearby systems, evidence of intelligent life, yet these signals were fragmented, as if the civilizations that created them were in decline or hiding. As the Voyager Ascendant ventured deeper, it became clear that this new galaxy was a treasure trove of knowledge, and a graveyard of forgotten empires. The crew discovered ruins filled with advanced technology, but also warnings etched into the walls in dozens of languages. Beware the Void Lords, they come for all. The Void Lords. The warnings proved prophetic. The Voyager Ascendant encountered a shadowy force at the edge of a collapsing star system. Ships of an unknown design emerged, sleek and black, absorbing light as if they were voids in space. They moved with purpose, their weapons far beyond anything humanity or its allies had ever encountered. The crew barely escaped, sending back a fragmented transmission to the Terran Alliance before the gate temporarily collapsed under the strain of the energy surge. The message was clear: this new galaxy was home to a force that made the Silent Dominion seem small by comparison. These Void Lords were not just conquerors, they were destroyers, consuming entire star systems to feed their insatiable hunger. The call to unity. The galaxy erupted into chaos. Some factions called for the gates to be sealed permanently, fearing the threat of the Void Lords. Others argued that exploration and understanding were humanity's only hope. Old rivalries resurfaced, threatening to unravel the fragile peace. Admiral Drake, despite her retirement, was called upon once more to guide the galaxy through its greatest challenge yet. She addressed the Galactic Assembly in a speech that would define the era. We stand at the threshold of a new frontier, one filled with danger and wonder. The Void Lords may see us as prey, but we are not the galaxy they expect. We are humanity, we are allies, and we do not bow to fear. Together, we will face the darkness, not as scattered factions, but as one united force. Her words rallied the galaxy. Plans were laid for a new coalition fleet, stronger and more diverse than ever before. The gates, once seen as tools of destruction, became the key to uniting the galaxy against the Void Lords. A new dawn. The journey into the unknown had only just begun. As humanity and its allies prepared for the battles ahead, they also embraced the hope that came with discovery. For every threat the Void Lords posed, there was the promise of new alliances, new knowledge, and the chance to become something greater. The stars burned brightly, and in their light, humanity found its purpose, not just to survive, but to thrive and protect the galaxy from any who dared threaten its future. And so, the legacy of Earth continued, written across the cosmos in stories of courage, unity, and the unyielding drive to explore the unknown.